Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot, with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time in this space with you. And anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member. And if you are truly new here, we do things a little bit different around here, so I suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together. So today the message is going to be, why is this toxic relationship or connection in my life? And we're going to find out what Source wants to tell you today. Now, this could be family, friends, romantic connection, co-worker, acquaintance, the neighbor, somebody down the block, somebody that you run into at the coffee shop every day. Whatever it is, it's open to whomever, okay? It's not just romantic connections. So we are going to be using the Wild Soul Oracle cards by Leela Ravenswood today, or Lila. Could be Leela or Lila. I guess it just depends on how you look at it. And with that being said, let's hop to our prayer and we'll get this underway. If you're watching this on the day that it is posted, I do want to wish everybody a happy Easter. And I pray that you all are having a beautiful day. I know this is kind of a rough topic, but we're going to see if we can get you the guidance that you need and the messages that Source wants to tell you, okay? So sending you all love, for sure. All right, my beloved Source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for the entire time or for a moment's time. I ask that you wrap us all in your unconditional love, in your grace, in your beauty, in your mercy, and in your wisdom. It's hard sometimes. We don't understand why we connect with the people that we connect with. We don't understand why it is that maybe you've brought them into our lives, or maybe we've just connected with them on an off chance, or whatever the situation is. But sometimes it's really hard to find reason or purpose for these difficult connections. It's difficult for us to open up our hearts and see it when there's so much hurt and so much pain and so much agony in these connections. How could you have possibly wanted us to experience this? How could you have possibly thought that this was going to be for our highest good? And while we don't know what the purpose is behind that, today I ask that those who need it most, you bring forth the messages of clarity to help them let go and open up to your will and open up to your love. And knowing that no matter how difficult the outside circumstances and outside people are in our lives, that ultimately we are coming to a grounded, centered, strong, empowered place within. As these words are spoken among this tribe and onto this reading, so shall they be. Amen, aho, ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved Source. Thank you. All right, let me hang that up out of the way. All right, got some ash on the table. No big deal. All right, so let's get that over there and give this a quick shuffle and see, Source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in my tribe's life? What can you tell us? Source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in my tribe's life? What would you like to share with us today? Why is this toxic connection or relationship in their life, Source? What would you like to say? Thank you. Why is this toxic relationship or connection in their life? All right, Source, for pile number 1, what Wild Soul Oracle card will help us better understand why this toxic relationship or connection is pile number 1's life? Okay, thank you. For pile number 2, source, what Wild Soul Oracle card will help us better understand why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 2's life? What would you like to share with us, source? Oh, that is too many. But I actually feel like it which one? Okay, it's that one. Sorry, there were some that were sticking out after those flew out, and that was the one they wanted. For pile number 3, source, what Wild Soul Oracle card will help us better understand why this toxic relationship or connection is in pile number 3's life? Thank you. All right. So the collective message, what do we got on the bottom? Turkey, the grounding energy. I love that this came out, honestly, because we were talking about that in the prayer, like staying grounded, right? If we're not coming from a grounded place, it's easy for anybody to upset us and trigger us and put us into a spin. And it can just get bigger and more emotional and more overwhelming if we are continuing to fall down that rabbit hole instead of coming back to grounding ourselves, instead of coming back to focus on ourselves. There's been a lot of guidance here to connect with nature. Maybe get outside, sit outside, put your feet in some water, walk on the sand, walk on the grass barefoot, whatever it is. I do feel like collectively you all, or we all, I should say, we all have been receiving this message to really get outside and let Mother Nature nurture us, which at the same time is an incredibly grounding act, right? And it's so funny because today I actually did a grounding yoga practice for the same reason. I was feeling super ungrounded. I was feeling super disconnected. And it's odd to think that to dig our roots in is actually going to help us strengthen our connection with Source. It's not just about opening our third eye. It's not just about opening our crown chakra. It's not even just about opening our throat, our heart chakra, our solar plexus, our sacral plexus, our sacral chakra. It's all about us really connecting with our root chakra so that we can grow into the heavens and receive those messages. But if we're not grounded, everything and anything will go wrong, and it will knock us around like a little ball in a ping pong machine, and we're just along for the ride. And with Turkey coming out and being grounded, also this is making me feel that connection to Thanksgiving, and it's finding gratitude for even the smallest of things. Like, if we can't find gratitude for what we're learning from the difficult situations in our lives, can we refocus on things that we can practice gratitude for? Because if we're practicing gratitude for our ability to be able to brush our teeth, or have our favorite cup of coffee in the morning, or have shoes and socks on our feet and shirt on our back, or to be able to put our hair up in a ponytail or brush our hair, or to wash our face and take a shower? Can we find gratitude for a quiet moment alone in the bathroom, right? Can we find gratitude for working devices in our lives, for working internet, things that keep us connected, for clean water to drink, for food on the table? Do you see, like, all these little things can then grow into something that is more meaningful and possibly open our hearts to see gratitude for what could potentially be, most likely is, a blessing in disguise. But as a disguise, it's showing up as very ugly and very unwelcoming and very hurtful and harmful to us. And so we're seeing that side of it because we can't really go beyond the hurt, which is completely understandable. No one is trying to force you to go beyond the hurt. But sometimes if we can step back and come back into that grounded place, and gratitude is a way for us to open our hearts, but it is also a way for us to connect to the physical things around us, which is grounding in and of itself. Let's see what this says from the book. All right, turkey. Come on, turkey bird. The turkey is right there. Okay. It says the turkey, deeply connected to the earth, symbolizes grounding and staying rooted. Turkeys are creatures of the land, reminding us to maintain a solid connection to our environment and to remain balanced amidst life's chaos. This card suggests you focus on finding stability and being present in the moment. The turkey encourages you to root yourself and find peace in your surroundings. It says take time to ground yourself and reconnect with your environment. Finding balance will help you feel centered and calm. And oftentimes in the reverse, this can mean feeling ungrounded or scattered. Consider if you were too caught up in distractions and find ways to reconnect with the earth. And that's what the feeling I was getting from this. So questions you can ask yourself are, how can I ground myself more effectively? What can I do to feel more balanced? And am I too distracted from my surroundings? And these are going to help you really reassess what's going to help you find that connection with your root chakra, with the ground, and getting back to a centered state of being so that life's chaos doesn't continue to suck you in and drown out the good or the positive or even your connection with your guides and with source. Okay, and that's the collective message. Let me go ahead and move this out of the way. That's a very powerful message coming in here. Now, I did just randomly toss these dice on the table, and whatever house came through and the position that it came through is where I left it. So Source was very clear about which dice went to which pile, and I'm just so grateful for that. Sometimes Source has really got a plan. So we're going to dig in and see what's going on here. Make sure we're in frame. Okay, I need to tilt this a little. Okay. So for pile number 1, and I love that. Before I even get started, I just now realized all of these are grounding protective gems. So you have the jasper, the red jasper, you have the garnet, and you have the black obsidian. These are all incredibly grounding stones and helping us recenter in our power. And they're also help to protect us from outside influences. So with that, for pile number 1, we do have this beautiful piece of red jasper for you to choose from. Let me go ahead and see if that'll, there we go, that's a little better. Okay. We also have the 7th house on this dice for you to choose from. For pile number 2, we do have the garnet. Okay. We have house 4 on this dice for you to choose from. And for pile number 3, we do have the black obsidian. We have the 12th house on this dice for you to choose from. Okay. Excuse me. We have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the one for you. And with that, I will see you over on your chosen pile. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of red jasper, or if you were drawn to this dice with the 7th house on it, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on why is this toxic relationship or connection in my life. I do want to say quickly thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you are truly new here, we do things a little different around here, so I just suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together. With that, let's hop to it and find out. Source, what can you tell us? Why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 1's life? What messages would you like to come through today? Why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 1's life, Source? Okay, interesting. We've got the 12th house, we have Aquarius energy, and we've got Mercury. First of all, I do feel like you, pile number 1, are very spiritual. And maybe you're not choosing to do a spiritual business or something like that, but I do feel like you tend to be very vocal about your spiritual beliefs, especially if you grew up in a very religious home. Like, you are different from maybe the background that you grew up in. It might not have been religion, or maybe you grew up in a spiritual home and you're very religious now, or whatever the case may be. Okay, take it as it resonates. What has happened, though, is it's feeling like you have garnered somewhere along the way a lot of blame and shame for the way that you believe, and whether that is from family or friends, you know, we're definitely going to find out more about that. But we're looking at here, one of the reasons why is because you are being encouraged to empower yourself to speak out for yourself, right? It's not about cutting people down. It's not about making people feel bad. It's not about making people seem less than. It's about saying, like, if someone comes up and says, hey, you're stupid for believing this, and just saying, like, no, I'm not. I have a right to believe how I believe, just like you have a right to believe what you believe. That doesn't give you the right to call me stupid. That's just an example here, right? It's not saying they're you know, what is it? It's not trying to put them in the wrong. It's not trying to put them on a pedestal. It's not trying to cut them off at the knees. It's just saying, I have a right to stand up for myself. And you have a right to be unique here. And this toxic connection, I feel like, has been definitely playing at that blame and that shame within your internal self that's been saying, like, we don't have a right to express ourselves in the way that we want to spiritually, whatever that is, whether that's religion or spirituality, it doesn't matter. But it's like feeling this shame or this guilt and feeling like being ostracized. That's what it is. Feeling ostracized for the beliefs that you hold. And this connection that you're in has been definitely exacerbating that feeling. And this is that encouragement that you have a right to stand out. You have a right to be unique. You have a right to be seen exactly as you are and exactly how you believe things to be, without feeling like every time you speak, someone's going to come in and stomp on you like you're some little annoying bug that got in their way, because you're not. Right? Wow, that was a very interesting image that came through. All right, let's see what else comes through here. Let's find out some more in the tarot and see if we can get a little bit deeper into this. I do feel like this is someone who maybe doesn't believe, you know, and that's really hard when you're cultivating faith and you're surrounded by people who don't have faith. It's easy for people who don't have faith to mock people who do have faith, no matter what their faith is in. Because faith is the unseen, and it's trusting the unknown, and it's really trusting in the magic and mystery in life. That's really what faith comes down to, and it's knowing that things are going to happen for you based on you trusting that if I take this path or journey everything is going to unfold how it should be. But I feel like getting stuck with this connection or around this person has been making you question your own faith. And it's simply because this person does not have faith. They do not believe that good things are possible for anyone, because good things have never been possible for them. So how on earth, if good things have never been possible for me, how on earth could they be possible for pile number one? Well, because while it might not seem fair, that's faith. So source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number one's life? What would you like to share with us? We're going to get a little bit more into this. Why is this toxic connection or relationship in pile one's life? Thank you, source. Why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number one's life? Whoa. Okay, thank you. They're dancing around something. That's what I just heard. Why is this toxic connection or relationship in pile number one's life? Thank you. I feel like pile number one, you're triggering this person in all the ways that they don't like to be triggered. So maybe they've dealt with a lot of death, or they've dealt with a lot of brokenheartedness, or they've dealt with a lot of hurt and pain. And you have too, but you're always so positive and your outlook is so upbeat, and it's like that triggers them, because it's like, no, they're supposed to be cynical about life like I am, because no one can go through these hard things in life and still be a positive person. And I feel like that's something that they're definitely projecting onto you. And it's like, man, every day I come in here, I do my best to protect myself. I do my best to protect my energy. I do my best to really stay present in this moment. But this person is like such a Debbie Downer or negative Nelly, and always, raining on my parade. And I feel like this person also kind of gets a little bit of an ego boost from making you go down a notch in your positivity. Like, they're like, oh yeah, I made them get mad, or I made them upset. Yeah, they just don't have much to offer. But I feel like this is about you focusing on something for yourself as well. With the Page of Coins here on the bottom of the deck, it's more about you really focusing on what makes you happy, what connects you to your heart, where you have a lot of passions on. It's literally about ignoring this person. But I feel like that's really difficult for you to do at times, because maybe this person has a specific role in your life, or they have a certain title in your life, whether that is neighbor, coworker, family, friend, lover, spouse, child, whatever it is. I feel like no matter what the role this person plays, it's important for you to find space to focus on something that makes you feel good. And then if you didn't catch the collective energy at the beginning, it did talk about grounding. And there's a lot of synchronicities already in this reading before we even got started about grounding. I unknowingly chose all grounding stones for all the piles. Red jasper is connected to the root chakra, and it's a very grounding stone. It's a protective stone, but it helps you to recultivate that sense of well-being with yourself. And with the Page of Coins here, it might feel like this is a new endeavor for you to really put forth the best effort for you to feel centered in this moment, regardless of how this person is showing up. And it's teaching you that it's the most valuable thing you can do is take your energy seriously and prioritize how you're feeling. So if you're feeling drained because this person's been too much in your energy, then prioritizing your energy would be like, look, even if it's a meeting, just being like, look, I know that we have to continue with this meeting. However, I'm not in the right headspace for us to continue. I need to take a moment. And that way we can come back and come to some sort of agreement. And if they say no, just be like, it's within my right to leave right now so that I can come back so we can be more productive. And if they continue to say no, it's okay for you to get up and maybe tell someone, or maybe share that with someone, or like, I don't know why they're saying a meeting. So maybe this is a coworker that you're dealing with, or it could even be a manager that you're dealing with. So if it's that, just asking for someone else to be present during the meetings because of situations like that. So there's ways for you to protect yourself, is what Source is saying. And that is one of the main things here, why this person is in your energies, to teach you how to protect yourself, where maybe you feel like you're backed up against the wall. And sometimes that's hard. It's like, well, I already know how to protect myself. I don't need someone to do that. But honestly, what happens is, no matter how much we grow spiritually, there's always going to be a cap that we reach on our own. And someone else is going to have to come in and take us to the next level, because it's only through triggering and it's only through feeling discomfort that we'll actually let go of complacency from where we were and choose to grow. Yeah, this has been very difficult, feeling like you're starting over again. So for those of you that are in a relationship, or even if you're in a job or have a position, it's like leaving is making you feel like starting over again. And that's creating a lot of dissonance as well. A lot of fear and anxiety is happening there. Now we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. And we've got, the Moon in reverse. This is playing at the mother wound within you as well. This could be a Pisces that you're dealing with, a Libra, Aquarius, or a Gemini. This could be a Sagittarius. It could be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus as well here. Heavy Aquarian energy, heavy Pisces energy, heavy Virgo and Gemini energy coming in. So whatever, resonates, whoever resonates with that, or this person could be that. This person is in a headspace where everything and everyone is against them. And so anybody that has any positive outlook to life, immediately you're an enemy. And so you are brought towards this person to trigger them into healing, even though you might not see the outcome of that healing. But also you were brought to this person, or this person was brought to you, so that you could deal with, again, prioritizing your self-care. Especially with the Moon here in the reverse. It seems like a very dangerous situation. It feels like it's a repeat of something from the past, from when you were a child, or even from when you were an adolescent. I feel like this is more geared towards when you were a young adult than when you were a child. There's something that happened between the ages. They're showing me the ages of 11 and 14, or 10 and 13. Like around that age time, where something happened where maybe you were forced into a situation of taking care of someone else, or dealing with, I just got someone had severe depression and you had to step up and be the adult in the situation. That is an incredibly specific message that's not meant to resonate with everyone, but that's what just came through. It's very profound, it's very loud as it came through. Also, there's this energy of feeling maybe someone left. So that could have been like having a mother that left, or having a father that left and a mother that had to step up into two roles, and not knowing how to carry those two roles, which is difficult for anybody, right? And it's not trying to bash your mom or bash your dad or anybody here. That's not what we're looking at. It's this energy of the wound that was caused from that. This person is a embodiment of that wound, mirroring back to you to help you heal from that, to help you release that from your energy field. And the only way that it would get triggered again, because it's been so deeply buried, especially with the Moon here in the reverse, this has been buried down deep, something that you were like, no, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to face this, I don't want to come, back to this ever again. This person is triggering that so that you can face this part of yourself once again, so that you can heal deeply, so that you can let it go and feel renewed on your journey. and refocusing your energy on the things that matter to you, on the things that help you ground, on the things that help you reconnect with your own internal divinity. This person has been sapping away your energy, but ultimately, pile one, at the end of the day, no matter what's going on in our lives, if someone is sapping our energy, and this is very, very difficult for anyone to grasp, it was very difficult for myself to grasp, but if someone's zapping our energy, we're actually giving them permission to do so. And you might feel resistant. I already feel resistance to that. I feel it in the back of my shoulders. No. This person, they do everything to make me mad. They do everything to make me feel bad. Regardless, at the end of the day, if someone's doing that to you, you're giving them power to take your energy, or you're giving them power over you, saying like, this person can do whatever they want to me and make me feel bad. So to take your power back is to prioritize your energy over this person's actions, over this relationship situation, over this connection. It's saying my energy matters, my feelings and my emotions matter, and knowing that, like, yes, this person may be extremely toxic and this person may be extremely chaotic, but at the end of the day, if we're sticking around and trying to do our best to navigate without protecting ourselves, we're allowing those people to have control over us, and we're giving them power and dominion over our emotional well-being. It is not to say that your feelings aren't valid, because they absolutely are. They absolutely are. And if you don't face those feelings, it's easy enough for us to point the finger at everyone else and say, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. But Source brought this person, or your guides or your soul brought this person into your life and brought you into their life, because you're direct opposites of one another, and you're meant to trigger each other into a form of healing here. And the form of healing is something that will feel very fresh and very new and very unstable, but it has certainly come from a past wound. And once you heal that past wound, there's going to be a sense of freedom that accompanies that. But it comes to looking within, and it comes to really digging down deep and saying, okay, what is this really mirroring from my past? Because I do feel like there's a sense of repression here from a past situation with both the Page of Swords and the Moon card in the reverse. There's this sense of repression that's coming that I don't want to face it. It's something that feels very frightening, very scary. But if you give yourself a safe space to unpack this, then you are allowing yourself to unravel something that has otherwise held control over your life for a very long time. Okay, but it does feel like it's starting over, and that's something that's very frightening here. That's something that doesn't feel very good. Yeah, we got Gemini energy coming out. Curiosity, intellect, and networking. And I love that this came out, because it's like Source is reminding you to come at this with open mind and curiosity and non-judgment of where we are on our journey, because it's not about other people, it's about us. And, you know, we talk about this a lot in yoga, non-judgmental awareness of where we are in the present moment, meaning that today is a completely different day than yesterday. And tomorrow will be a completely different day from today. And so reminding ourselves to stay curious and open-minded as though we were a child seeing the world for the first time will help us rationalize and reason this in a way that will give us permission to let go. And sometimes we have to let our emotions take course for a while so that we can really allow our intellectual self to come in and say, okay, we felt what we needed to feel. Now we can let go freely and clearly without it holding a burden on us any longer. All right, so we're going to put that there. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, we've got a lot of air energy here. This is something that's broken your heart. This is something that's definitely holding on to your heart chakra as well. And it's been difficult for you to speak your truth when it comes to this situation. We have consideration, fairness, and harmony. I feel like Source is reminding you that we're trying to help you balance your energy here. We're trying to help you come back to that centered place so that you can see both sides of the story and make an educated decision for yourself. This is not about making judgment. Okay, this is not about judging another person from how they're coming up, how they're showing up. This is about making an educated decision about how we choose to show up in a situation, if we do or if we don't, and what that entails, rather than saying, oh, I'm judging this person, it's their fault, they're the worst thing in the world, how could they act like that, how could they be like that, how could they even believe the things that they believe? Well, that's not for us to decide, because we don't know what that person's experience is. We only know that person's experience with us, right? That person has a whole nother background. They have a whole nother life that they've lived that's been without us. And even if you've been in this person's life for your entire life, there's still things that they've experienced that you haven't been witness to. And we're judging them based on things that we might not even know anything about, just because this is how they're showing up for us. A judgment is harsh, right? You don't want to be judged because you've lived a really difficult life. And I'm not saying that this person wants to or doesn't want to be judged, but if you don't want to be judged, we have to come into a place of letting go of our judgment and coming back to, how does this affect me? How can I show up from a centered place? And how can I learn value from knowing that there are people like this in this realm, and that they're showing me how not to show up. They're showing me in what I don't want in my energy. But only when you can find peace with what is chaotic in your life, that's the moment that you graduate into a new perception, and that gives you freedom over something that once held you prisoner or had chains on you. On the bottom, look, we've got the Queen energy here with the light attributes. Radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. We have the Shadow, becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. So there's someone here who's trying to control you, or very demanding of your attention, very demanding of your energy, and may also challenge you because you have authority attributes to you. But we're seeing here again evidence that this could be reflecting the mother wound deep within you, and the only way for that to get triggered is someone who embodies that wound in the physical, so that you can let go of that part of yourself. And sometimes, my apologies, I hit the camera, sometimes it's hard to accept that, because not everybody's good, right? Not everybody's good, not everybody's bad. There's a lot of ups and downs in this realm. There's a lot of things that we're going to be living in this realm, but ultimately everybody is us, and we are everybody. And that, while it makes sense to say out loud, to come into the inner standing of that, it's something that will continually develop and grow throughout your life. So you might be like, no, I understand that. I get that now. But ultimately, there's something here that when you are able to relinquish the control over this situation, the hold that it has on you, and come back into a centered, balanced place, then what will happen is that inner standing will then develop and grow even more, right? It's an unending, infinite process that we go through. And that's exactly why this person was brought into your life, because there might be the emotional ego coming in saying, we don't need to learn anymore. We've already learned everything that we can. And the spirit is saying, no, there's so much more that we can open up to. There's so much more that we can grow and expand. And that comes by triggering, and that comes by difficult situations, and how we choose to show up for those difficult situations. This is not easy, Pile 1. What you're dealing with at all, this is not easy. I don't want you to think that I'm invalidating it at all, because I'm not. Source is coming through showing this very situation is something is very toxic. It's very difficult. It lurks in the corners of your mind. It lurks in the background like, oh my gosh, this person really does have it out for me. And maybe they do, and ultimately they're dealing with their own internal struggles. But we can't focus so much on that other person, because the more we focus on that other person, the more energy we take away from ourselves. And the more energy that you give to this person, you give that person continued power. And so what Source is showing here is that this person is triggering you from something that happened that you feel very vastly uncertain of right now, which is okay. But the more that you dig into that, and the more that you open yourself to a deeper truth of that, the easier it will be for you to relinquish the control over this situation, which is what our emotional ego does. It tries to control everything. And sometimes we don't even know it's trying to do that. It's just how it's always been. And so it's just subconscious at this point, or more like autopilot at this point. Look, we've got the lunar dragon, and the moon here bathes you in the divine feminine light. Come into balance, practice peace, harmony, and cooperation. Expand your causal chakra. Okay, in the causal chakra, if you haven't been here very long, it's okay. I'll explain to this. It's actually the chakra that resides at the occiput, which is the base of our skull where it meets our spine. There's that little bump right there. And the causal chakra sits about 6 inches outside of our body. And the goal is as we grow spiritually, it is to bring that chakra back inside internally. And this helps us to reconnect with our divine third eye and the visions that we have, okay? It's a very powerful chakra center to work with, but it's also something that we need to make sure that we're grounded in all our other chakras in order to work on that. Okay, so with the lunar dragon coming up, again, connecting with the divine feminine, this is all about, and we think about the divine feminine, the moon is the mother, the divine feminine, right? Like Mother Earth, but the godmother moon. And it's that energy of coming back to mothering ourselves and nurturing ourselves. And so this is something that's very clear, that to purify your energy is all about coming back to work to yourself. And that's why there's this toxic relationship in your energy right now. That's why it's been very difficult for you. And I also feel like there's a lot of emotional attachment here, and that's okay. That's human. There's nothing wrong with you to be emotionally attached to someone, or to love or care about someone. There's nothing wrong. And I think that we need to move away from this, like, oh, well, you're so attached to it. No, like, it's okay, because it's normal. If we normalize the fact that attachment is a thing, it's easier for us to say, okay, it's going to take us time, practice to let go and to not be so attached to the way that this connection should be, or the way that I see it in my head, but that's obviously not how it is in this realm. Okay, so we're going to look at the shadow aspect here. Flipped over, we've got vicious circle. Pattern of relationship, issues with bad habits, a no-win situation. Yeah, so again, coming back to what I was feeling earlier, that energy that this is something that has been continual in your life for a long time, and it's been mirroring whatever this moon in reverse is looking at, which is the mother wound. Whatever that wound is, that initial wound with your mother, and I do feel like it came through adolescence, okay? More than childhood, I feel like it came through adolescence. And it's just been repeating itself over and over again. On the bottom, look, we have cuts both ways. Good and bad aspects, a mixed blessing, division. Source is absolutely acknowledging that it hurts. Okay, no one here is saying, like, get over it. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're saying that it is time for you to face this internal part of yourself, to re-empower yourself, okay? And remind yourself of how strong you are, that you can and you will overcome this. Look at this, peace. Again, we have that with the causal chakra. Source is trying to show you that you can develop a sense of peace no matter what is happening outside of you, pile one. No matter what is going on out there, as long as you are working to maintain a sense of inner peace. Here's a great affirmation for you. Inner peace is my goal. Okay? The more you're working with that, the easier it will be for you to deal with anything that comes your way and not feel like you're getting ungrounded by it. Illumination. We're illuminating something that's been hidden in the dark for a long time. That's okay. This journey it's infinite. There is no, we're reaching an end destination. I feel like there's so many wounds and so many things that we've suffered through our entire lives. Like, it will take our entire lives to heal, and that's okay. That's how it's meant to be, right? So instead of looking for a destination here, just looking at this as this is a pit stop along the journey, and that's okay. You're learning it. You're doing a good job. You're doing what needs to be done. Okay, on the bottom, Capricorn energy, buckle down and get to work. Yeah, this is like bringing you back to that work aspect of the journey. Shadow work is coming in. All right, I just want to get one more out of this. Didn't mean to get this many. Yeah, self-esteem. This has been taking a hit on your self-esteem. So I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And isn't that what I said at the beginning? It's like your spiritual practices, how you believe, that's what people have been putting you down for. This particular person in this connection has been putting you down for the gifts that you have, or for how you believe spiritually. Here with the 12th house, there's been a lot of shame and blame that comes with that. And that absolutely is playing at your self-esteem. Empowering yourself to know that you're perfect, you're imperfectly perfect, and that's how you're meant to be. No one is perfect in this life. Everyone goes through a lot of issues, troubles, and upsets in their lives. Even if we're not seeing it, that's just the reality of this realm. And so reminding ourselves that we're not alone. And this person, if they're trying to ostracize you for you believing what you're believing in, you're not alone in believing the things that you're believing, but this person is also projecting exactly how they feel because they don't want to be honest with themselves about how they believe. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Yeah, this is all about your growth. So I do feel like this is, oddly enough, an answer to a prayer that you had. And hear me out before you get upset, because I know this sounds very odd. But I feel like maybe you prayed to Source, like, I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to receive what's mine. And in order to get there, this had to be cleansed out of your energy so that you could step into the next part of your journey. And so with that prayer, this person came into your energy, and they could have even been here for a long time, right? And it's just something that continues to be a cycle that you're going through, and you're the only one that can stop the cycle because you're the only one that controls how you show up. And that's exactly what Source wants you to do, is come into this place, finding empowerment within, and come into this place of peace, and knowing that you have a right to stand in this moment exactly as you are, as who you are. Look, Capricorn energy came out again. So you could be a Capricorn, of Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. You could have the 10th house Capricorn. I also heard North or South Node Capricorn. We have ambition, realism, and methodical steps. This is going to take practice, okay? This is going to take you showing up. This is not a one and done thing, okay? This is not you like, oh, I believe I'm good, and I believe I'm worthy, and I believe that I'm meant to be here, and all that. One day you say it on Monday, and by Friday this is done. That's not how this is going to work. This is not a by Friday situation, okay? This is literally a situation that you're going to have to keep showing up for, all right? We have the artist, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. The shadow is using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as a starving artist to elicit pity. Okay, so you could very well be an artist. You could very well have this gift within you. Maybe someone is trying to use the fact that you are not further along on the journey as a way to make you feel bad, or as a way to make you feel guilty. Everybody has to start somewhere, including them, but including you, Pile 1. You had to start somewhere. You're not going to go from 1 to 1,000 in a day. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes energy. And that's another question to ask yourself, Pile number 1. However this person judges you, is this person doing all the things that you're doing? Like that, oh, you'll never have a life in that, as an artist. You'll never have a life as a tarot reader. You'll never have a life as a writer. You'll never have a life as whatever insert situation, owning your own business, doing something from the ground up, creating something with yourself. Whatever it is that they're saying, you're never going to have that life. Is that person doing that? Or are they just sitting on their thumbs, twiddling their thumbs all day, every day, and not doing anything for themselves? Because why are we, pile number one, why on earth are we going to take advice or take somebody's opinion seriously when all they do is come home and sit down and do nothing? If they're not living the life that we want, that is absolutely not the energy that we want to show up in, right? You know that you're going to have to do certain things. And so this person's making you feel bad for doing those certain things. It's always nice to have that gentle reminder. Well, aren't you glad that you don't have to show up and do the things that I do? Aren't you glad that you've got your life figured out? Sometimes you just have to give it back to them. And sometimes it's just the easiest way to maintain peace for yourself, not taking on their energy. Like we have child nature. We were talking about that, getting back in nature. This came through in the collective energy. We have friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits, and the shadow is a tendency to abuse animal, people, and the environment. So we do see here that the environment has been abusive. It's been very toxic. Okay? Can you go outside, connect with nature? Can you reconnect with your animals? Can you put up a barrier around yourself from this person? Put in your headphones. Work with your headphones on. Don't let this person get to you. Find ways. There's always a way for you to create a safe environment for yourself. Sometimes you might have to be creative like a child. Okay? Air and fire dragons. We have expand your creative energies. Harness your creativity, excitement, and enthusiasm. Communicate your passion. Yeah, you're meant to share your passion. There's a lot going on in the background, right? This is chaotic. An explosion and eruption of a volcano, that's chaotic. That's very chaotic, right? But don't let that deter you from what makes you feel good about yourself. Earth and fire dragon works with you to clear fifth dimensional ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive. So you're meant to share your gifts with the world. This person is just basically an obstacle, a hurdle, if you will. But this person is not insurmountable, okay? The situation is not insurmountable. You are very capable of overcoming this, but it's a reminder to you to come back to yourself, to reconnect with nature. And also I do feel like there's an importance here for you to connect with fire. So maybe doing fire magic or setting intentions with a candle. Okay, we have Virgo energy. Tidy up your life. Yeah, finding some sense of balance again. And the second house, know what really matters. Okay, what do you really want in your life? How do you want to be in your life? What matters to you? And how can you become that right now? Okay, so this person, the reason why this connection is in your life right now is to bring you back to self-worth, to bring you back to a sense of inner prosperity, inner peace, so that you can mirror that out into the outer realm. Let's take a look at your oracle card. I'm going to read this from the book. Wow, we have the weasel, stealth. Interesting energy. Feels like this person's very cold towards you. Hot and cold is the energy that's coming in. Let's see. The weasel, a small and elusive creature, symbolizes stealth, observation, and the ability to navigate the unseen. Known for its quick movements and sharp instincts, the weasel represents the power of subtlety and the art of staying under the radar. This card suggests that you may need to be discreet or take a stealthy approach in a situation. The weasel reminds you that sometimes the best strategy is to observe and move quietly. Okay, use stealth and discretion to navigate your current situation. Sometimes subtlety and quiet observation are the best strategies. And in the reverse, it says your stealth may be leading to deceit or lack of transparency. Consider whether you're being honest with yourself or others, or if your actions align with your values. Questions are, how can I use stealth to navigate this situation? Am I being too secretive or deceptive? And what can I learn from quiet observation? And I feel like that's just it. When you observe the way this person shows up, you'll be able to understand, like, wow, this person's coming from a really hurt place. And is that an excuse for people to treat us the way they treat us? No, it's not. But for any of us that have healed on this journey, we're also very understanding that our hurt makes us do things that we regret later on when we come into the acknowledgement of them. Everybody's in that. Everybody has experienced that. And I feel like that's what's going on here, is this person might not even be aware of the way that they're treating you. Is this something that they've done for so long? The other thing is, this person's very cynical. Okay, this person's very negative, and they expect everybody to be that way too, because most of the people they meet are very cynical and negative, and you're not. And it trips them up, because it's like, what the heck? I don't understand. And so what we don't understand, we have a tendency to judge, and to judge harshly. That is a very societal construct and belief that has been deeply ingrained into us, which is why people do their best to fit in, because when we fit in, we don't get exiled from the tribe. Because if we were to get exiled from the tribe, way back in the day, it would mean starvation, it would mean lack of shelter, it would mean that, we would have to figure it out on our own, or we could potentially die. And so that is something that's ingrained in our being. It's ingrained in our DNA. It gets passed down from generation to generation. Even if we don't live that way anymore, that's still something that plays a part in the way that we're showing up. And so right now, be quiet, observe, and focus on yourself. Like, maybe if there's an argument, go outside. Just be like, you know what, I need to take some time. Go outside, sit outside. Not arguing back, not getting in that energy. And so why this person's been brought into your life is really coming down to your self-worth, your self-esteem. Those are the two highlights of this reading. And reminding yourself that you're an amazing individual, pile number one, and you deserve to be seen. And if these people aren't seeing you as you are, they're not your people, and that's okay. That's okay, right? So this is what I see for you today. If you felt like this was your reading and you lasted this whole time, which I'm so proud of you if you did, here's a big energetic hug for you, pile one. Leave the snowflake down below and say, I choose to stand empowered, knowing that I am worthy and deserving of people who respect, honor, and see me as the person I am. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member. And with that, I do want to take a quick second and thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this incredibly powerful message, pile number one. Until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of garnet, if you were drawn to this dice with the 4th house on it, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on why is this toxic relationship or connection in my life. We do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should this message happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And also, if you are new here, I do just want to say we do things a little bit differently around here. So I suggest that you strap in, hang on, and you and I are going to find out together. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out. Source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 2's life? What would you like to say today? Why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 2's life source? Whoa, it was flying out there. We've got Scorpio, 8th house, and Mercury energy. Interesting. This is playing off of your shadow self. This is a part of the shadow. Kind of a similar message to pile number 1, but actually a really different energy coming in. This could be someone who also is spiritual in a sense. Maybe they're a practicing witch or a warlock, okay? Or this is someone who's into the occult, into, you know, those less than talked about things, taboo subjects. This could be a Scorpio. This could be someone who's a Gemini or a Virgo. You could be Scorpio or have Scorpio highly aspect in your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. You'd have Mercury, Scorpio and Mercury. You could have Mercury in the 8th house, okay? Also just heard Mercury in the 10th house. Interesting. Retrograde aspects are coming through as well. Wow, that was really strong. So there's a lot of darkness here, a lot of shadow, right? There's a lot of shadow here. There's a lot of really communicating to oneself the truth of the things that maybe the actions that you've done in your own life, or maybe the things that you've been through that you don't want to acknowledge. And it's like the shadow aspect of you is begging to be communicated with you, right? You don't necessarily have to share it with anybody. You can if that's what you want to do. But this is really about being open and honest with yourself and really laying it down for yourself. Sometimes we have to put ourselves in check. And I feel like this person may be an embodiment of they've done a lot of the same things that you've done, or they've been on the receiving end of things that you've done. So the example that they're showing me here is, say that you were cheated on, right? This person could be someone who's cheated on someone. Or say that you cheated on someone. This person was someone who was cheated on. You see what I'm saying? So it's like they're the complete opposite of what it is that you've done. They're the ones who received or were the perpetrators of what you've gone through in your life. That's what this really feels like, this opposites attract type energy. And it's speaking to your shadow, because I feel like there's a lot here that you have reasoned with yourself that I don't have to talk about, or I don't have to face, or don't have to even bring up with myself, because that's not going to come up on my healing journey. Why would that come up on my healing journey? But everything and anything will absolutely come up on the healing journey. Whether we want it to or not, guess what? It's all free game. It is all free game, especially with the soul. Like, we don't know what it's going to tackle next, but this person, it feels like, is the embodiment of someone who has experienced the opposite of you. And so it does feel like there's not, like, maybe there's a lot of blaming going on here. Like, you blame them or they blame you for not having similar experiences, things that you cannot connect on, right? Things that are very, like, again, if you were cheated on and this person was someone who cheated on someone, that could immediately cause a trigger for you and immediately cause a trigger for them. Well, it's like, well, I've never cheated, but I was cheated on. And that person's like, oh, well, I cheated on someone, or I cheated on everyone, right? And so it's an immediate trigger. But there's also something that goes in along with that that's not being brought forth, right? And that's what this really feels like to me. Oh, this is like a really deep energy. This is something that would not otherwise be triggered, right? It's fine to be connected with our soul tribe and everything, but sometimes we do have to be triggered by people who are not going to resonate with, so that we can release that energy. And I feel like that's definitely an underlying message for the collective today across the board. Because it's just that reminder, we're going to deal with people in life who aren't going to resonate with us. And it's like if we immediately label everyone as toxic, right? We're missing out on something that we could potentially learn from them. But it doesn't automatically to mean that there aren't toxic people out there. It's just a reminder to ourselves that it's important for us, especially those of us that are conscious, those of us that are aware, to use our discernment to the best of our ability here, okay? But let's dig in a little bit deeper because I feel like there's more to the story here that needs to come out. So Source, can you please share with us? This could be a family member, someone who has painted a lot of illusions in your life. This is someone who has lied and deceived you, or equally so, and take it as it resonates, pile number 2. Maybe you've lied and deceived them. Okay, so we have to own where we're at, and that's exactly what your pile is all about. It's about owning where you're at as a person. So I'm going to come from it as it's going to come through, but also just mentioning here, like, you know, if you were a perpetrator at any one shape or form, owning that. Does that make you less than human? Absolutely not. No, and I'm not here to judge. No one is here to judge. So if you feel judged, remember that's that self coming through because it doesn't want to be honest with the energy that you were going through or that you have gone through at some point. So Source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 2's life? Okay, thank you. Why is this toxic connection or relationship in pile number 2's life, Source? What would you like to share with us? Thank you. Why is this toxic connection or relationship? Whoa, okay. Thank you, Source. Thank you. On the bottom, the moon. Okay, moon. Yeah, there's something here that's definitely hidden. So again, being secretive, being deceptive, dealing with deception, right? And that could be a part of letting go of past traumas where maybe there was like a deceptive streak in your family, or maybe even you as a child could have been deceptive to your parents or something like that. You know, like we have all played deception in our lives. You're not the only one. Okay, we are all guilty of it. That is something that's very human of us, because sometimes it's easier to paint a picture that somebody wants to hear because of fear of what could happen if the truth comes out. And I feel like that's something that's really coming through here. There's this very deep hidden aspect that's coming out. And again, with the moon connected with the 8th house here and Scorpio energy, this is something that is deep subconscious purging, deep subconscious healing. It's like honoring a part of yourself that you might not even have known existed, or you might not have known needed to be honored. And that's what this feels like here. Yeah, getting help with. You know, the 3 of Swords in the Tarot Marseille talks about divine intervention in a way, and it's getting help from the divine realm. And that's what this really feels like. You're getting help from Source by this person being in your energy at this time, so that you can purge this out of your energy. And it doesn't make you a bad person. Okay, that's what I feel like somebody really needs to hear that today. You are not a bad person. People make bad decisions all the time. That doesn't make them bad people. And we as a collective have been on this rampage for a while of seeing, oh, you made a bad decision, you're a bad person. And that makes it increasingly difficult for those of us who have made bad decisions, which everybody has. It makes it increasingly difficult for us to heal from bad decisions, believing that because we made this bad decision or a series of bad decisions in our lives, which who hasn't, that we're obviously unforgivable, we can't come back from that, or that why should we forgive ourselves when society says that I shouldn't? We're learning how to let go of that societal construct. So there's definitely self-blame coming through here. Okay, so we've got the 2 of coins in the upright. There's been a lot of twists and turns when it comes to this person. A lot of hot and cold energy, yes, but more than anything, I feel like this person, like maybe somebody here is making promises that they can't keep. Oh, so we promised to go here, or promised to do this, or promised to take care of that, and that always falls through. Why do I hear that song? 'Cause there is no Arizona, no painted desert, no Sedona. If there were a Grand Canyon, she could fill it up with the lies he told her, but they don't exist. Those dreams he sold her, she'll wake up and find there is no Arizona, right? Like, so that's just it. It's like a lot of dreams and a lot of promises that have been sold, but they don't exist. They don't exist. It's just empty words that have been said here. And I feel like with the 2 of coins, there's this energy of being, someone here is making promises that they can't keep, and it's like tugging you along with a carrot on a string, like just having you run on a treadmill, believing that you're going to get somewhere where we're going nowhere. We're just going around in a circle, really. Yeah, a lot of superficiality with this connection. A lot of surface level things. There's someone here who sold a very big idea of fame, fortune, glory, money. You know, it's interesting. I'm going to share something about myself. One of the main reasons that I stuck it out with my toxic ex, this was in the very beginning. This ultimately was just one of many, many reasons, okay? But from the get-go, he promised to buy me a Cadillac. He's like, oh, I'm going to buy you a Cadillac. I'm going to get you a Cadillac. And that's not, it's shallow. It is so shallow. I was an incredibly shallow person when I started this journey. And it took me through all of these things. And it's hard to talk about, right? Because it's like, who wants to admit that they're shallow? But really, I think it's something that we as humans all deal with because we are enamored by shiny things and expensive things, and everybody has that within them, you know, like, oh, I have to have the newest shoes, or I have to have the newest phone, the newest device. If I don't get it, then something's wrong with me. And he painted this huge picture, like, I'm going to buy you this Cadillac, we're going to go travel, we're going to do all these things. And we ended up not being able to pay our bills and struggling and only ever eating out and spending all our money on eating out. And could be like, well, why didn't you take a stand? It was very difficult for me to feel like I could take a stand. And that's why me leaving was the best decision of my life. But I'm going to tell you and be honest with you, Pile 2, was also the most difficult decision of my life. And so one of the reasons I stayed was because of this promise of fortune that didn't even exist. It was the promise of resources that were never manifested. Okay, and that's something that I had to really look long and hard about myself. And I feel like it's interesting that they want me to share this story with you, because it's really about owning a toxic trait within ourselves. And that's what this feels like for you, Pile number 2. It feels like this person, this connection, is helping you own a toxic pattern or trait or belief that you have within yourself, that it's been easier just to say like, oh no, that's not me, I'm not like that, because I believed how weird, right? These conflicting energies. I believed I wasn't superficial, and yet to go back and heal that part of myself and to really focus on, why was I with a narcissist for so long? Like, why was I in this abusive relationship? Why was I allowing myself to go through these things? And it's because there was a lot of huge promises that were empty. And I believed in my heart of hearts at one point, I believed that he was going to become all these things that he said he was. And then my heart began to tell me, you know, you're wrong. You know you're wrong. And I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it because I wanted to prove everybody else wrong. I wanted to say, no, he is this amazing person, the person I fell in love with, the person that I saw in the first few months of our relationship, that sweet, kind, loving person who cared about me and actually had conversations with me and didn't blame me for everything. But that's not who I fell in love with, right? And we know that. We've learned that about narcissists, but that's the thing. It's like owning that part of ourselves. There's a lot of superficiality that's at play here in this dynamic. This is a very superficial connection. This is a very surface level connection, and it's not ever going to get deeper, right? So it's about purging this idea or these ideas that you have that it has to be a certain way because that's what's expected of me, right? And sometimes it's difficult to face those parts of ourselves. Yeah, falling from grace, realizing that the illusion has become our reality. And that to rip away that illusion and to see it as the illusion means that we destroy a faulty foundation, but a foundation nonetheless in our lives. And that's what this feels like, Pile 2. It's like this person has come into your life to help you whittle away at those parts of yourself that are the illusion, right? That you're holding on to. And I said this in the collective reading, and I feel like I need to say it again. It's like when you come to this understanding of the journey, right? There's parts of the journey we become very clear on. Well, that's not learning everything about it. That's just opening up to a new portion of it. And that ability to open up expands even bigger. And it becomes even more massive. And we begin to understand even deeper the things about ourselves that we at one point didn't want to even acknowledge, and the things about even others that we didn't want to acknowledge here. And so this honesty with self, right? This Mercury energy with the Scorpio energy and the 8th house. We have Scorpio, Pisces, and Capricorn energy here, right? This is coming out. It's just saying, it's like, this is about being honest with yourself, not wearing rose-colored glasses when it comes to others, not wearing rose-colored glasses when it comes to yourself, but also equally there's a fine line between being honest with yourself and berating yourself for things that you've done or things that you believed or things that you were holding on to. So it's finding that balance and understanding, like, I want to be honest with myself about this, and I'm not going to lie to myself that this is who I was, but I'm also not going to berate myself. Like, honoring the fact that one of the reasons I stayed was because he sold me all these financial promises. I had to honor that about myself, right? I was like, wow, I really was so worried about finances. But then that acknowledgement opened me up to allowing me to dig deeper into where that wound came from. And it comes from a whole line of generational curses in my family. And I absolutely understood myself better when I was able to actually acknowledge that superficiality in my life. And so that's what they're saying here is, like, when you honor this, you're going to begin to understand even more about yourself that otherwise you wouldn't have learned if you hadn't been getting triggered in this way or hadn't had this very surface level connection with somebody that's had a whole lot of twists and turns that just seem very chaotic and very unprecedented. But it is actually something that the divine has orchestrated in order for you to clear out these illusions that your emotional ego believes is foundational and needs to be credited for foundational, when in reality it's not foundational at all. And that's something that it will hurt to let go of, but it will also be so freeing to relieve yourself of that burden. Let's get some oracles and see what comes through here. What else would you like to tell pile number 2 about this source? Okay, you're going to get 3 of these because that's what came through. On the bottom we have air energy. Look at this. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, we have open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. Again, opening our hearts, opening our minds, opening ourselves to the reality of love and letting go of what we feel is real from this realm. It's not that this realm isn't real, but this realm can absolutely lead us down a rabbit hole of believing in illusions rather than believing in our truth. And so this is helping you to learn more about your internal truth while also speaking that truth to yourself. I feel like it's easy for us to lie to ourselves. And if we're lying to ourselves, then it's easy for us to attract other people who are going to lie to us, who are going to mislead us, right? Because that's the embodiment of something that we're doing to ourselves. Seeker, we have thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. We have the shadow attribute, inability to commit to a path once found. And so there could be this resistance here, knowing that you want to seek more. You're thirsty for the wisdom. You want that truth no matter what. But there's also resistance knowing that in order to get to that next level, I have to release something that has been holding me back, which means finding peace with letting it go. And that's okay. It's going to take time. No one's asking you to do this in one night. I love this card. This is probably my favorite dragon in this whole deck. We have Sunshine Yellow Dragon. Helps you to help animals. Serve animals, heal, respect, and understand them. And this is actually really powerful for you as well, because animals can only live in this present moment. For them, it's not about things. It's not about food, even though they might be food driven, okay? But ultimately, it's about what's going on in this moment and love in this moment. And they're an embodiment of that love in the moment. And I feel like that's something that you need to be reminded of, that it's not about the material. It's not about the status. It's not about the money. It's not about the title. It's not about any of that in life. It's literally about coming to love and finding happiness and peace within that love. And your animals, or if you work with animals, will help you come back into that place of peace and groundedness. We have the Golden Atlantean Dragon on the bottom. Helps you to remember the wisdom of Golden Atlantis. Awaken. Bring back your knowledge, gifts, and talents. Reclaim your mastery. And I feel like you're denying yourself, too, in a sense that you're actually a very powerful person. There's something here where it's like you're dimming your own light because of something you chose to do when you were younger, or something that you've experienced in life. You're dimming your own light because you don't feel worthy of sharing yourself with others. And that's what Source is saying. Like, this person is helping you to realize that you absolutely are worthy of sharing yourself with others, because you're seeing what you don't want in your life, and you don't want these superficial connections. You do want something that's a lot more grounded and deep and spiritual and loving. Well, we've got the Midhaven. And did I not say 10th house on yours? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. But we've got the Midhaven here, which is mind your reputation. We're talking about not status and all those things, but your reputation. Who do you want to be? Right? And the 10th house, that's the Midhaven, is our 10th house. It's this energy of what we're meant to do, to stand firm in it, right? But I do feel like there's a lot of resistance here with this energy. Look at this, with their arms crossed. Our body language says everything. I do feel like there's a lot of resistance here, because I feel like there's something that you feel, Pile 2, is very ugly about yourself that you don't want to integrate, because integrating that means that you have to say, I did this, but you don't have to say it to anybody except for yourself. Right? Like, Source isn't out here like, you need to share this with everyone else. You need to tell everyone else about what you know. Like, Source is saying, like, integrate this with your journey for yourself to free yourself. Right? There's no need for defiance here. But it's easy to stand in a state of defiance when the emotional ego has been holding on so long that this needs to be secretive. This needs to be kept behind closed doors. Like, we can't share this part of ourselves with others. But it's a part of your path to integrate this, because there's a you that wants to be seen as a fully integrated being, which you are, but, you know, we're still learning to integrate our shadow and everything like that. It's just a lifelong process. But as you integrate the shadow, then you feel more grounded in who you are. Solar eclipse. Watch doors of opportunity swing open. And eclipse season is all about healing and letting go of what's not serving us, right? So this is something that is absolutely no longer serving you. It no longer has a purpose for being in your energy. Look at this. We've got pride coming out. Yeah. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. Didn't we talk about that at the beginning? That you're like a opposite mirror of this person. But it's like, that's why you don't get along with this person. That's why it feels very toxic, because it's hard to see the other side of it. So like, say you were cheated on. Again, we're going to go back to this energy, because it's like, say you were cheated on and this person cheated on someone. It's hard to see where they're coming from when you're so hurt because someone cheated on you. Or say this person that you're talking to, is they were cheated on and you were the perpetrator. You cheated on someone. It's hard to see their shoes, because then that brings up all that pain that you put someone else through. Right? So that's what this really feels like. It's like, I don't want to put the shoe on the other foot because I don't want to feel that person's pain. You know, someone told me once, and this really is standing out for some reason, that it's easier for people to pay money to other people than it is for people to feel each other's pain. And I feel like that's where your emotional ego is at. It's like, shoot, I will pay anybody to deal with this for me, but I don't want to feel this pain. But that's exactly where your growth comes from. It's letting go of the pride and coming back and digging deep into the subconscious here and purging that from yourself. No one else can do that for you. Forgiveness. Wow. We have I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Yeah, and that's exactly what's coming through too. It's this energy. It's like, I don't want to see this other person's point of view because it hurts so bad, right? It hurts me so bad. Why should I see this other person's point of view? But that's actually the most profound thing that we can do. That's true empathy, is the ability to tap into someone's pain that we would have otherwise resented for our entire lives. Like, taking my narcissistic ex, for example, I could have spent my whole life resenting him for the way that he treated me, for the times that he put his hands on me, for the times that he sexually abused me, for the times that he verbally, mentally, and emotionally abused me, right? I could sit in resentment for all those things. However, the thing that freed me was forgiving him and seeing him as the burdened, injured child that was on the inside. Because I knew that he wasn't doing all of that as because of me. It wasn't because of me, and it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with what he had experienced as a child that I still to this day do not know, and I will never know. But it doesn't matter if I know that. It only matters how I choose to see the situation. I see him as the wounded child. I see many people as the wounded child, but it's often difficult for us to see the wounded child, because then that deflates our emotional ego's hold, the pride that we're holding on to. Like, I deserve to be resentful. I deserve to be angry. Yeah, sure, you do. You deserve to be angry. You deserve to go through whatever it is that you're going through. Absolutely. But emotions are like storms. They're like tides in the ocean. They come and they go. They're not meant to live with us for forever, but we're coming into a place now where we've learned that if I don't hold on to this for forever, I'm missing a piece of myself. But the truth is holding on to that forever actually is what's making you miss a piece of yourself, right? So on the bottom, movement. Yeah, moving away from this. What do we have? Look, oh my gosh, we have anger underneath here. Look, moving away from anger. Yes, this is so telling. So there's a lot of anger and resentment here. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of pain. We're not invalidating that in any one way, shape, or form. You absolutely are valid feeling how you feel, okay? But if you don't validate that, I could say it until I'm blue in the face. Source could have everybody around you say it until they're blue in the face. It would never be enough for you to truly validate that for yourself, you have to choose to do that. Okay? We've got ending. This is a shadow aspect here. Ending. You're pretending that it's not ending, but it's time to let go and make a fresh start. Wow. There's an ending here. And with every ending is a new beginning. On the bottom, bad timing, too late. Taken, not ready to love again. So there's a lot that's at play here, right? Someone's apology, too little, too late. You know, and and I understand that too, because at the end, when I finally broke things off, you know, he came back and he explained his abuse that he went through as a child, part of it, and whether it's the truth or not, it's not for me to say, but he's like, I don't know why I never bonded with you on this part of life, because, you know, I went through this too, and instead of judging you for the thing that you experienced that was out of your control, I could have actually bonded with you, and we could have had a good connection because of that. So can we do that now? And that was exactly what I said, too little, too late. I was like, you can't expect me after 8 years to say all of that is washed and forgiven because of you coming forward and explaining this now. I was like, and I wasn't ready to forgive at that time. But when I was on my own, I realized that holding on to all that anger and resentment was just creating situations where he was popping back up into my life through other people, through other situations. And when I let go, that all calmed down and I felt free again, right? So there's this energy where it's like, yeah, it is too little too late. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to let people sit with their own intentions. It's okay to let people sit with their own burdens. But in this, if you want someone else to do it, we also have to do it ourselves. Right? So I had to honor what was making me show up in this situation the way that I was showing up. Victim or not, none of that matters. Why was I sticking it out for so long when it was obviously a toxic situation? House 1, individuality, self-image, and approach to life. I'm not surprised, especially with reputation and self-image coming out. This is something that you don't want to acknowledge within this dynamic. Within this dynamic, I don't want to acknowledge this because it makes me seem like, whether that's a bad person or whatever it is, I keep feeling like it's a bad person, and you're not. I just want to tell you, Paul, too, you're not a bad person, no matter what. But that's really what I keep getting with this, and that's why this connection is here. It's to remind you that you're not a bad person, but it's also to help you acknowledge this part of yourself that you've shoved so deeply. It's a purging of the old. House 6. What were we talking? I cannot with you, Source, right now. This is so incredible. We have the 6th house with establishing a what? A foundation. Health, daily life, and practical details. And we were talking about foundations, faulty foundations falling away. That is so synchronistic. Boom. I'm not surprised Saturn came out at all. Feeling restricted, experiencing struggle, learning hard work and patience. This has been a situation of tough love for you. And Saturn teaches us that tough love. Sometimes we have to go through incredibly difficult things for us to learn how to love ourselves, for us to learn that we are worthy of love no matter the part that we played in our lives or in someone else's life. Okay? Detective, yeah, seeking out what it is that you need to heal, right? Great powers of observation and intuition, a desire to seek out the truth. We have shadow attributes or voyeurism and falsifying information. We were talking about that too, like being very secretive, right? There's no need to falsify information. No, you don't have to share this with everyone. I need to keep reiterating that because I feel like someone is believing like, well, if I do this, then I have to share it with everyone. No, you don't. Like, this is being honest with you. You're the only one that matters here. You have to be honest with you. You don't have to be honest with everyone else about this. You don't have to share this with... It's not about being honest with everyone else. It's about sharing it with everyone else. You don't have to share this with everyone else. First house, identity check. Wow. What? What, Source? Oh my goodness. First house, self-image. First house, identity check. This is about check yourself before you wreck yourself, okay? That's what this is. And I feel like the more that you try to shove this away, the more people are going to come in to help you deal with this, to face this part of yourself that you have been so adamant not to face. Creativity. This is going to bring you into a place of creativity. And I also feel like it's just being creative with yourself as well. Like, how can I unearth this in a way that's working for me, right? And that's okay. Take some time, really dig into that, understand what's the best way for you to let this go. Is it about drawing it? Is it about writing about it? Is it about speaking it to yourself? Whatever it is, and how you can express this part of yourself in a way that works for you, do that. Is it painting? Is it singing? Is it dancing? Right? But be honest with yourself and let it come out. The Wolverine, tenacity. And Wolverines are a little vicious, right? They're a little vicious. They're kind of crazy. But they're awesome animals, but they can be very vicious. And I feel like that's the other thing here. So maybe there's something here that you did that was vicious. And it's like, oh my gosh, if I recognize that, then that's a terrible, terrible thing that I did. But, you know, making a bad decision does not make you a bad person. I just feel like I need to keep reiterating that. We have the Wolverine, a fierce and determined creature, symbolizes tenacity, courage, and the will to survive. Known for its relentless nature and ability to face down larger predators, the Wolverine represents the power, persistence, and determination. This card suggests that you may need to dig deep and find the strength to persevere through challenges. The Wolverine reminds you that tenacity can overcome even the toughest of obstacles. Harness your tenacity and keep pushing forward. Your persistence will see you through even the most challenging situations. In reverse, it says your tenacity may be turning into stubbornness or an unwillingness to let go. Consider whether your persistence is serving you or holding you back. The questions you can ask yourself are, where do I need to apply more tenacity? Am I being too stubborn or unwilling to let go? And how can I use my persistence to overcome challenges? Yeah, so stubbornness is coming through so strong as well. So just letting go of the stubbornness. And isn't it interesting because she's blindfolded? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, okay. She's blindfolded, right? I don't want to see this. I don't want to look at this. But remembering that even the fiercest part of ourselves deserves loving kindness. It deserves our acceptance. It deserves our grace. Right? And you're the only person that can give that to yourself. This is a very powerful reading, indeed. Okay, but this is what I see for you, pile number 1. If you feel like this is your reading, leave the little devil emoji down below, and I'll let you choose whether you want to put the mask, the smiley one, or the mad one. But leave the little devil emoji down below and say, I choose to acknowledge, love, and accept the darkest parts of myself, knowing that this is how I feel whole, complete, and integrated. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guide, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this black obsidian, or if you're drawn to this dice with the 12th house on it, or if you're drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on why is this toxic relationship or connection in my life. I do want to say quickly that for those of you that continue to be a supportive part of this journey, I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if anybody is new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And also, if you are new here, we do things a little bit different around here. So I suggest if you're here, strap in, hang on, and you and I are going to find out together, okay? So let's hop to it and find out. Source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 3's life? Why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 3's life? What would you like to share with us today? Okay, so we've got the 6th house, we have Gemini energy, and the South Node. Why am I not surprised that the South Node is making an appearance in at least one of these readings? Okay, so you could be Virgo, Gemini, or have Virgo or Gemini in your South and North Node. Pisces and Virgo, and it would be Sagittarius and Gemini in the South or North Node. Okay. Could have a lot of 6th house placements as well. For some reason that's coming through, okay? This has to do with your health, right? Your health, your well-being. It could be a coworker as well, because we do have coworker with the 6th house. Your animals, to do with the animals that you take care of as well, your routines, your foundation, your daily life. I feel like you see this person on the daily, right? And you're dealing with this person on the daily. Do you see that you have adapted to the situation? But there's also, with the South Node, this is something you're meant to release. Okay, this is someone that you're meant to not really spend a lot of time with. And I feel like there's a fear here in letting go, or maybe there's a fear of being stuck, that I can't let go of this person for whatever reason that is. But it's also reminding you that you're incredibly adaptable. You've already adapted to the situation at hand. And if you've already adapted to the situation at hand, instead of becoming comfortable with that adaptation, reminding yourself that you can creatively create space for yourself so that you're not constantly connecting with this person all the time. I do feel like there's a need to know who you are by yourself without this person around, without this person constantly bearing down on you, because it does feel like this person has some strong energy. It does feel like this person is just in constant need of attention, or has developed a severe codependency attachment to you and is constantly forcing that on you, which is overwhelming, especially if you're healing from codependency yourself. That can be very overwhelming when someone is like, nope, I need you in my codependent situation. You're going to fulfill that role for me, and I'm going to treat you how I've always treated situations like this. And with the South Node here, we do see this is something that eventually, as you get more comfortable with the idea, you are going to release this. Whatever release means to you, that could be walking away, that could just be creating a safe space for yourself, that could be focusing on your self-care journey. Okay, so release is going to mean different things for different people. This is not just about saying adios. This is about literally creating space for yourself. Okay? Keep seeing that. Create space. Create space. 1 second. Okay. Is it going to come out? Excuse me. Sneeze of confirmation. It was coming, it wasn't coming, it was coming, it wasn't coming. So I feel like there's a lot of back and forth here with you. Like, you know you need to let this go, but also letting it go has been a challenge for you. And that's okay. Like, Source isn't blaming you. Your guides aren't blaming you. No one is blaming you here. I want to say, like, how dare you, pile 3? No, that's not what this is. It's just a reminder of how you are capable of adapting even when things are incredibly challenging. You are capable of creating stability in the chaos. You've done it many, many times. You'll do it again and again and again. But there's also seeing the fact that this person is not an ally for you. Not at all. And I feel like maybe at once you thought that they were, or you were deeply in love with them and they've broken your heart. This could be someone that maybe at work you thought you had aligned values, and you're quickly finding out that that's not the case. There's been a lot of big changes between the two of you. Okay, Source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 3's life? I just really feel like Source is reminding you that you can adapt. You will survive. I will survive. Yep, okay. So yeah, I will survive is coming through right now. Okay, so I just was getting a channel message. It's just weird. It says that somebody feels filthy or gross or dirty here. And they're saying that if this is you, pile 3, which I feel like it might be, if this is you, that the more that you feel that way, the harder it is for you to move on from this situation, because that's exactly what this person is playing on, those weaknesses, what are perceived weaknesses, okay? And it's like every time you feel that low energy coming up, instead of sitting with that and being in that place of like, oh my gosh, like this is how it is, like I'm never gonna do this, I just feel so dirty, like I can't move on, like this is the way, whatever it is, it's almost like a spiraling effect, like spiraling out. Can you find something else to focus on, like something creative? Can you play a favorite song and sing your heart out? Can you go dance? Can you go take a drive? Can you get out of your head in a way that works for you? It's like this, for them to make me stop doing everything I was doing, I feel like that's exactly what happens when you feel this energy rise up. And it doesn't necessarily have to be feeling dirty, but that was what came through. So it's like whatever it is that's attached to that could be anxious, fear, worry, feelings of self, lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, devaluing self. Okay, so whatever that is, it's like it makes you stop doing everything, and that takes over everything. Wow, that was really strong coming through here. All right. Someone dropped the ball. Someone dropped the ball. I don't know what that means. Okay, so Source, why is this toxic relationship or connection in pile number 3's life? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have the 5 of Cups on the bottom. This person is very intrusive. This really feels like it's time for you to put up a safety screen, like a safety net for yourself. This person wants to know everything about you, even if they don't directly ask. Like, they do things a certain way in order for you to give them information. They're very, very, very intrusive. And I feel like they definitely do play at those emotions a lot. Yeah, we've got the Ace of Swords coming in. Okay, it could be a parent. It doesn't have to be, but with the 3 of Cups here, this could be a father or a mother. It could be a Cancer or Scorpio. Very heavy energy, Cancer and Scorpio coming in here right now. Yeah. Pisces. Okay, could be a water sign. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Someone who is deceptive and secretive and using superficiality as a way to manipulate you. Buying your love. Wow, I just heard that come in too. Okay. We were talking about this. This could be a coworker too. This could be a coworker that does that, like brings you gifts and then expects something for those gifts. It could be as simple as a candy bar, right? It could be as elaborate as some shoes. Who knows? It's like they're expecting you to give them what they want based on them buying you something. This is not, and so what they want is information to your life. They want to get into the crooks and crannies of your life and share that with people. This could be somebody who gossips a lot as well, with the 5 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, setting boundaries again. So this is a lack of self boundaries when the 7 of Cups comes out in the reverse. This person has been needling their way into your life consistently for a very long time. And Source is saying here that it's very important for you to set up solid emotional boundaries. This person plays on your emotions, right? That codependency. But we were talking about that earlier when I stopped shuffling altogether, and it was like, okay, I'm feeling dirty, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling insignificant, and then spiraling out of control. And they wait until you feel that way, and then they use all of their energy and effort to press down on you even more. And this is how they're needling their way into your energy, and that's how they're gaining information from you as well. And they're using that information against you. Anxiety, fear, worry. So this person waits until you're in an energy that isn't you in your power, okay? And that's why it's so vital for you to set solid emotional boundaries with this person. Like when you're feeling this way, when you're feeling this emotional overwhelm, it's necessary for you to make space, coming back to that energy again, space for yourself. Okay, so I don't really feel up to talking to this person or dealing with this person right now. I need to go spend 10 minutes outside by myself, or I need to read my favorite book, or I need to listen to my favorite song over and over again. I need to go take a drive. I need to get away for a minute. I have to go do something for myself. That's what this really feels like here. It's like Source telling you, make space for yourself. There's got to be some energy of separating yourself from this person, and they're just used to manipulating emotions. This is someone who's grown up getting reactions based on them manipulating others' emotions, and so they're influenced by it now. It's something that comes incredibly easy to them. Something that they probably don't even think twice about. They just know exactly how to pivot here, pivot there. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do that now. Like getting into your life. It's a codependency type situation here. And they expect you to fulfill what they're needing. But you're not meant to play that role. You're meant to be in a much bigger role. And Source is trying to bring you this clarity so that you can see, like, no matter the role that this person plays in your life, it is not a solid foundation between you and them. No matter how much they try to paint the situation that it's solid, there's always going to be a situation that comes up where they come back to this place of making you feel even more bad about yourself, right? And then using what they glean from that as a way to spread gossip about you, as a way to make you feel, to make you seem like a bad person to others. This person they are used to getting their way, and they're used to talking about people behind their back. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me, pile number 3, if you have heard this person talk about people to you, about other people behind their backs to you. And you may have said, that's enough, I don't want to hear it, like I don't want to talk about those people. But I feel like that's something that's not new or news to you. And Source is saying, instead of focusing on their gossip, which ultimately won't matter, because once you let them go, all of their gossip is going to seem completely pointless anyways, and people are going to start seeing the truth of this person. Right? The truth always does come out eventually, and even if it takes a while. It's like, and no one can really ruin your reputation no matter how hard they try, because if you're not partaking in the arguments or in the destruction of whatever's going on. And when I say destruction, it's like, oh, they're gossiping about you, and then you going around and trying to build yourself back up. You're just creating a weird dynamic, right? So instead of saying anything, it's about staying silent and really just focusing on yourself. And the people who really do care will pay attention. But this person is just so used to breaking people's emotional self down so that they get their own emotional needs met by that person's, putting you into people-pleasing energy or, validation energy or, giving them what they need emotionally. That's what they're trying to get from you. And so the reason that this connection is in your life is to help you see clearly that no matter the role that a person plays, or no matter how nice a person might act, or no matter how loving a person can seem, the most important thing is to focus on your energy and whether or not this person shows up. Like, when you're in a bad mood, are they trying to make you feel better about yourself, or are they trying to make you feel worse? And those are the things that when you pay attention to, you begin to see the true intentions of people. Not whether it's good or bad, it's whether it's good or bad for you, right or wrong for you, okay? And I feel like that's what Source is reminding you. This person makes you feel very anxious about yourself. This person creates a lot of dissonance with your emotions and your well-being. And this is that reminder that the clarity comes from you listening to yourself when it comes to this person. And whatever releasing means to you, whether that's not spending more time with this person, whether that is leaving altogether, whether that is just, again, creating that space for yourself. Whatever release means to you when it comes to this connection, listening to your intuition is vital for this, because it is going to be so different for each person. Okay? Let's see what else would like to come through here, Source. What else would you like to tell them? Okay? Yeah, the 4th house. So this could be family. I kept feeling like it was family, but also we have the coworkers energy here. So it could be someone, maybe you work with family. So that could be it. We've got cultural and family roots, home, peace, and comfort. So something that's very close to home. And, of course, with coworkers, you've obviously probably heard the term of work husband or work wife, or, it's just like people that we see so much. We see them more than we see our own family because we're at work so much, right? So that could be what this is referring to as well. On the bottom, house 2, exactly. Look, physical security. Okay, your physical security, your emotional security, your mental security are so vital here. Possessions, material values, but the other thing here is self-worth. More than anything, it's how safe you feel and your self-worth here that are at play, that is necessary for you to observe and look into on this journey, pile number 3. Okay, Source, what else would you like to tell pile number 3? Okay, you're going to get 2 of these. That one's all weird, wonky. On the bottom, we've got the student. Humility and devotion to knowledge. Openness to lifelong learning. Shadow is arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge. Unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Okay, and I feel like this is the pursuit of destructive knowledge. I feel like that's exactly what they use against you. They gain knowledge from how you're feeling, and they use that to cause chaos. And here it's having you to be open to learning what works best for me in these types of situations. That's what you're learning from this, and that's why this situation is unfolding the way that it is. It's because you're learning a valuable lesson to show up when any of these situations come into your life, which they inevitably will, because there's tons of people in the world and we're going to meet all different kinds of people throughout our lives. But it's like when people come into your life that are in this energy, instead of you being their crutch, you're going to learn the best possible way for you to gracefully step aside and leave them to their own energy while you continue to protect yourself. We have the warrior here with strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. The shadow is trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. Indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. This person doesn't care when you're suffering. They just don't care. They care when they're suffering, and they want everyone else to care when they're suffering. But, oh, when pile 3 is suffering, whatever. I'm going to use that to make you feel worse about yourself. Or they're not going to say anything to you. Or they're going to ignore you. Whatever it is. It's like no matter how they show up, it makes you feel worse. And they know that it makes you feel worse because their main goal is to get emotional fulfillment, mental fulfillment from other people. They're gaining validation from you when you're showing up like, oh, hey, you're not feeling good. I'm sorry, you know. That's all they want. We have priest energy here with light. It facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. And the shadow is violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Okay, so I do feel like you do have gifts that are trying to either grow, expand, or come out, but it's difficult for you to connect with those because emotionally you're trapped in this feeling of being stuck in this situation that does not feel very good at all. On the bottom we've got, look, the black dragon from Saturn. Brings you wisdom through spiritual discipline. Concentrate. Focus on your ultimate vision. Congratulate yourself. You've passed a test. So you will pass this test, but it has been very, very trying for you, especially with Saturn Dragon coming out. We see that this has been a very difficult struggle situation for you. I feel like you learn a little and then maybe you might fall back into old patterns, and that's okay, right? That's a part of the process. We have to kind of do this through the journey until we figure out how to balance ourselves. So, okay, this is how we are now, you know. There's always this back and forth energy. And then one day you'll be like, okay, I'm done going back. Like, I'm going to be very strict about how I'm spending my time and my energy. Surrender. I can release my need to control. Yeah. So you don't need to control them. You don't even need to control yourself in the way of them. Excuse me. These sneezes, they don't want to come out, then they do want to come out. Thank you, whoever said bless you. Thank you. I think it made it stop. Okay. So when we say surrender, it's literally saying I surrender to what I can do for myself. Not what I can do for this situation, not what I can do for someone else, but what can you do for yourself? And I feel like that's why this person's come into your life, is to help you surrender to the process and to trust that the divine is leading you to where you need to go, and to trust in the wisdom that Source is imparting onto you for your journey. What else would you like to tell pile number 3, Source? Okay, so I guess you're going to get 3 of these. Okay, on the bottom, we've got Trine. Things are magically aligning for you. Yeah, so there is a shift that's coming for you, pile number 3. But this person can't be a part of that shift. And that's why I feel like Source is reminding you here. It's like, that's why it's so vital for you to set up those boundaries, because this person is going to want to weasel their way in and to gain knowledge about what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're experiencing, you know, whatever it is. They want the knowledge so that they can try to paint themselves as whatever it is that they're trying to paint themselves as. Okay, that could be the victim, that could be the hero, that could be that they're the good one, you're the bad one. That's really what this really feels like. They can paint themselves like they're in the light and that you're the one that's in the dark, okay? But Source is about to reward you, and Source is saying, when I reward you, you're gonna need to choose yourself in this situation. And what does that mean for you, pile 3? Asking that will help you understand what's next for you, okay? Rejection. This person might reject you a lot. Yeah, ghost. Wow. So under this, go with the flow. Okay, so there's been rejection. This person, didn't I say that this person's been silent, like giving you the silent treatment too? Yeah, so that is rejection on their part. And Source is saying, open up to the flow of the situation. But it's been hard because there's a lot of sadness here. What's behind that? Magic. Yeah. Bringing you back to this magic moment. Right? Do you believe in magic? You do. Come on now. Right? So keep moving forward, but find a way to emotionally detach from the situation, which is a lot easier said than done. And give yourself grace. It's going to take time, right? I'm not asking you to do it by tomorrow. Source isn't asking you to do it by tomorrow. They're just saying take the first step to begin to emotionally detach. And then every time you find yourself slipping, can you remind yourself to come back to that place? Oh yeah, I'm emotionally detaching from this situation because this isn't serving me. It's creating a lot more chaos in my life than it is, peace and harmony. And that's okay. On the bottom, deadly combo. Look at this. Dangerous when together, triggering and explosive. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so... They're really painting the picture now of how hard it's been. And the more that you fall into these triggers and the more that our emotions explode, the harder it is for us to emotionally detach. Right? So it's like the more that this person triggers us and we let our triggers get the best of us, which is human of us, please give yourself grace if you've done that. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay? That's okay. That's life. That's all right. But it's just that reminder that the more that we tap into that and play into that, the harder it is for us to emotionally detach and set those boundaries for ourselves. And so Source is wanting you to set those boundaries for yourself so that you know what's next for you. And I don't feel like, pile 3, like I don't feel like no matter what you do, like your blessing is still coming. You've done the work. You've gotten to this point. So your blessings are still coming. But what you choose to do next will be dependent on how much you disconnect from this emotional attachment. Okay? And, it will be the difference between feeling guilty like you need to pour back into this person and feeling empowered knowing that you can choose yourself. House 5, passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. This could be someone that you're dating, but also I feel like this is about reminding you to connect with your inner child. That's a good way to give yourself space, doing something that your inner child wants to do. What did you like to do when you were a child? What did you do to spend time alone as a child? Did you color? Did you create? Did you craft? Did you knit? Did you crochet? Did you, build things? What was it that you did as a child? And going back to that will help create safe space for you. Kuan Yin's pink dragon brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. And I think that's very telling. Firm love. And we got the Saturn dragon on the bottom. And the Saturn energy is all about tough love. So this has been a tough love situation for you. It's not like it's happy. Like we're not saying you're like, yay, thank you, Source, for this tough love situation. I'm so glad. Oftentimes we're like, really? Why? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to go through this? And that's real. That's real. I've been there. I know you've been there. Like, it's just, that's a real thing. But it's just a reminder that sometimes we otherwise wouldn't choose ourselves if it was just a happy-go-lucky, easy situation. Right? Challenges are what make us grow. That's for anything. Right? Think about if you're working out and you're working out with 5-pound weights, because when you start, 5 pounds is a lot. Some of you might be laughing right now, like that's nothing, whatever, right? But hear me out, right? You start working out with 5-pound weights. You bench 5 pounds, you press 5 pounds, you're curling 5 pounds. Well, if you're always going to do 5 pounds, you're never going to grow because you're never challenging yourself. But say the next time you come in and you're like, okay, well, I want to do 7 pounds, but you do 7 pounds and you get so tired, you're like, nope, I'm just going to go back to 5 pounds because that was easy, right? Eventually that 5 pounds is never going to do anything for you. It's just not. You're going to plateau very quickly. So the life that we experience here is all about our growth, and our growth comes from challenging situations, and that's just the way it is. That's this earth school, if you will. It's just this realm. That's the duality and the contrast that exists in this realm. Balance. Wow. Balance. Karmic balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. This is all about balancing out that energy again. You've been giving too much to this person. It could be to a whole bunch of people. I do feel like it's one person, right? We're talking about one connection, but you could also be giving to others unknowingly too much because of you giving to this person. And so that's the thing. We're trying to balance this out. You don't need to be in this unbalanced situation any longer. It's okay for you to choose yourself. Aquarius energy, fly your freak flag, baby. Let yourself be the unique weirdo you are. Why? Because I love you. And that says it all. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just saying. It's just, I love you. I think you're amazing the way you are. You should love you and think that you're amazing the way that you are, and let yourself be seen that way. Juno, find your true love. This is going to help you find the person who's meant for you. Okay, letting this go is going to help manifest who you truly want in your life. Fixed. Keep on keeping on. You're running a marathon here, right? And it's not a race, it's a marathon. It's for the long haul. And source sees you, right? That's what I said. It's like you've done so much work already. Your blessing is going to come. But what happens when your blessing comes is what is going to matter, right? So it's all about whether or not you're still attached to this codependent situation, or if you found a way to create a little cocoon for yourself of safety and boundaries. Okay, so we've got determination. Yeah, I feel like you're going to definitely do what needs to be done. You're a very determined person. I don't feel like the rejection really bothers you too much anymore. It does still sting, but I don't feel like it hurts like it once did. I feel like it's annoying at this point. Like, are you kidding me? It's like you've already triggered each other so much that you've come into this place. You're letting go because it's been happening so often. And this is just that reminder, like, you can consciously choose to let go before it gets to that point, right? You can. And some of you, it might not. Like, you might always still be holding on if you don't consciously choose it. Everybody's journey is different, okay? And that's not to ask, well, why is it so easy for them to let go? That's not the question here. Everybody's journey is different, and it might seem like it's easier for someone else to let go than it is you, because they're not experiencing what you're experiencing, because they're experiencing what they're experiencing, and you're not experiencing that. So you don't know, right? And that's why it's so important for us to remember that even though we're not experiencing what another person is, we have to do things based on what we're experiencing for ourselves and not compare that to another person. What's the shadow aspect here? Adrift. Not willing to settle down or be responsible. Time to commit and put down roots. So someone here is being irresponsible for sure. I do feel like someone's in and out. Especially if this is a coworker, right? Someone needs to take responsibility. They need to commit to their job. They need to commit to their responsibilities. But if they're not, then it might be falling onto you. And so you might have to get creative and not let this person take that type of run in your life anymore. If it's family, the same thing. They're not willing to settle down. They're not willing to be responsible. They don't want to commit to you. They don't want to put down roots with you. But you can choose to do that for yourself. You see? So let's take a look at what this card says. I'm going to read this from the book. The Cat, Independence. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is just reminding you that it's okay to be an independent BA. Right? It is. It's okay. You don't need someone in your life. You want someone in your life. There's a difference, right? And reminding that you can still bring that energy here. Like, I don't need you in my life. I want you in my life. And that might help you kind of set that line in the sand where it's like, we're not going to go beyond this. Okay? So the cat, we're going to see what the cat says. Let's look at what the cat's drug in. Okay, we're just gonna go with it, whatever. The cat, a creature known for its independence, curiosity, and grace, symbolizes self-reliance, intuition, and the power of solitude. Cats are often seen as mysterious and autonomous, moving through life with a quiet confidence. This card suggests that you may need to embrace your independence and trust in your ability to navigate life on your own terms. The cat reminds you that true strength often comes from within, and that solitude can be a source of power and clarity. And I love that, because this whole time I kept feeling make space. And that's what it's like, make space for solitude, right? So we have embrace your independence and trust in your ability to navigate life on your own terms. Solitude can be a source of strength and clarity. And then in the reverse, it talks about your independence may be leading to isolation or reluctance to accept help. Consider whether you are shutting others out or being too self-reliant. So questions you can ask yourself for this journey are, how can I embrace my independence while staying connected to others? Am I isolating myself or refusing help? What can I learn from solitude? And I feel like that's a very powerful question for you. All of them are, but I really feel like what can I learn from solitude is a very powerful question for those of you that this resonates with. This was a very deep message. And if you did watch all 3 messages, leave a purple heart down below. That's for my Purple Heart Club. That's for those of you that show up for piles 1, 2, and 3. I know what that means, and I really appreciate you spending all that time with me. And regardless if you're here and you only watch pile number 3, I truly am honored and blessed to have you here for any amount of time. But if you did feel like this was your reading, pile number 3, leave the cat emoji down below and say, I am okay embracing my independence, setting emotional boundaries, and choosing to spend time in solitude to know who I am. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member. So with that being said, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this incredibly powerful message. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.